the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News telecast here on ChannelEye Rupavahini. I'm Ravin Hettiarachchi. Joining me is Sharifah Tahir. Today is the 16th of November and here are today's headlines. The government states the cess tax revision will not lead to an increase in prices of essential items. Driver's license to persons with full listening and speaking disabilities. For the first time, a welfare receiving board, it will commence providing relief for poor families from the second quarter of next year. Donald Trump joins the fight for the US presidency.
We now continue with those and other stories in detail. Today is the second day of the budget debate.
Today's debate was commenced by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena.
We are discussing this budget at a time when many things of significant importance are in the final stages, Honourable Speaker. The IMF assistance and the response of the multilateral and bilateral agencies involved in the debt restructuring process, including the support of our friendly countries who are clear on their assistance. We are also witnessing most welcome gradual changes that are taking place, bringing a consolatory atmosphere to the extreme hardship the people of this country were exposed to. Therefore, we should consider it as a positive sign of direction we are moving towards. HE, the President and the Finance Minister call for the need to start a new journey. We all should support to start a new journey that is the most important. Turning inwards to give the required impetus to our existing production lines should take priority. More funds should flow into these areas. Agriculture, non-productive land resources, defunct and declining essential industries have to be provided with capital. Entrepreneurship, introducing better administrative strategies and relaxation of outdated laws, as proposed by the President, that stand as an impediment for the revival, will receive priority under this budget. Release of land for productivity will drive new labour, especially the youth. Entrepreneurship in farming in this will attract new capital. Collectively, they will push into new economic frontier, mainly based on food production and export-oriented farming and fisheries. The new institution proposed by the amalgamation of the BOI and the EDB and investment promotion could implement this at the national level. Even with regard to the proposal to develop our mineral resources based to more income generation, we have to pay attention to the possibilities of addressing the highly potential areas with more appealing and quick income generation chances. While we have been talking about digitalization, have committed large sums of directly as well as indirectly through our state-owned enterprises, there are several examples we can emulate from our neighbours itself. They have moved forward in fast strides before us. Digital facilities were used by Prime Minister Modi to transfer the allowances to farmers in their own homes. In their own homes, billions were transferred across the country. අපට තවමත් එය කර ගැනීමට ප්‍රමාද බාධා ඇති වී තිබෙනවා. The position they have fallen into today is not due to lack of business or any other external factors, but mismanagement and failure in professional management of these institutions. The need for restructuring, those are arisen in such a background. Although it is not yet very late to address the realities of the cause of this debacle, the prevailing economic conditions force us to take immediate steps. I, being in the opposition, never opposed the restructuring of the UN, because it was the biggest burden the country was carrying. We have to have free airlines. We have to open and have an open sky policy, which I stated from the opposition. So මේ තීරණය අමාරු තීරණයක් වුණත් ගත යුතුයි. නැත්නම් we'll be bleeding of foreign exchange at this rate ගරු කතානායකතුමනි.
Minister Ramesh Patirana says that Sri Lanka has earned an income of $1 billion from tea exports up to September of this year. The minister was responding to a query raised by opposition leader in Parliament today over a collapse in the tea industry. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that due to the extremely erroneous decisions taken with regard to fertilizer, there has been 60% fall in tea production. He further said a decline in similar extent has been recorded in the income of workers relying on the tea industry. Minister Ramesh Patirana said that 60% harvest reduction is a fallacy. He added that only a 15% reduction has been reported. He added that a higher price is now being fetched for tender tea leaves, which was a 362% increase. A 1 billion rupee income has been earned from the tea industry by the end of September this year. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that the tea factories are being closed. Minister Ramesh Patirana said that according to the central bank data, the plantation industry has recorded the highest income in the history, amounting to $3.8 billion last year.
Opinions expressed by several intellectuals regarding the budget for 2023. Professor Prasanna Perera of the Faculty of Economics at the University of Peradeniya said that the actions pertaining to the tax policy have been implemented on 3 occasions in the recent past. These policies remain unchanged. The budget has made proposals regarding taxes on foods, the central bank and the pay-as-you-earn taxes on commercial bank employees. According to the proposals, these institutions will not be able to implement the policies with effect from the 1st of January 2023. The employees will have to bear the burden. He also has pointed out that the need to strengthen the balance sheets in state enterprises. He has questioned as to why loans obtained by them will have to be borne by the Treasury and the Finance Ministry, a question repeatedly raised by the International Monetary Fund at the talks with the Sri Lankan representatives at the state of debt. According to the proposal, the debt such state enterprises has been taken over by the Treasury. The Treasury and the Ministers of Finance have to take the responsibility on recurring indebtedness. Dr. Ajit Amarasinghe said that the direct taxes prevail in tax increases. Direct taxes mean taxes directly recovered from individuals. Those who earn a high income will have to pay more, and those who earn a less income will have to pay less. When direct taxes are enforced on private institutions, they increase the price of goods and directly pass over the burden to the consumers. This practice is not permitted in a developed country. Professor Vasantha Artkoralas said that the government in some manner has allocated funds to different parties. Foreign investors have been attracted to the country. Efforts are underway to revive the export agriculture. Yet at that, however, in order to come out of the several economic crises, severe reforms will have to be implemented in the country. One of the basic properties of the budget next year is to enhance higher educational opportunities of youth in the country, as well as to lay a groundwork for the creation of new professionals.
Similarly, the budget has focused special attention to consolidate security of poor people of the country who engage in transactions with microfinancial and state lending institutions. In admitting students to state universities, only students pursuing in the arts stream are being selected on an island-wide skills basis. However, only 40% of the students pursuing in the streams of science, mathematics, commerce and technology are being selected on this basis. The budget has proposed to increase the intake to 50% of students pursuing studies in these fields as well. The budget has also proposed to commence a new medical faculty at the Uvavallasa University. A sum of 200 million rupees has been set aside in this regard. Measures have also been taken to provide postgraduate study opportunities for who are pursuing studies in the medical faculties at the Peradeniya, Ruhunu and Jaffna universities. Currently, provision of these facilities is being restricted only to the Colombo University. Similarly, a national policy on pursuing postgraduate studies locally is to be prepared. A standardization board is to be formulated to establish the quality of degree courses. Steps will also be taken to offer 75 foreign scholarships to students in state universities who excel in their studies. The recent budget has also proposed to set up an authority on microfinance and regularizing of debt. The aim is to consolidate the security of consumers engaged in transactions with microfinance and lending enterprises. The unregulated microfinance activities also pave the way for the acceptance of illegal deposits, exploitation of customers through heavy interest rates, undisciplined recovery processes as well. The deposits of such consumers are not being protected at present. Therefore, the budget for next year has been proposed to set up a regulating authority. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed relevant officials to immediately implement the Singapore-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement.
The President has given the instructions at a discussion at the President's office today. The meeting focused in depth on the prevailing issues. The President pointed out the need to immediately resolve all problems. President Secretary Saman Ekanaika, President's Senior Economic Advisor Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga and relevant senior officials also attended the discussion. A group of Catholic clergymen comprising of Bishop of Mana, Right Reverend Fides Lion Emmanuel Fernando has called on the President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's office this morning. The representatives enlightened the President on the occasion of several issues including the land disputes in Mana. The President, upon focusing attention on the problems, said the speedy measures will be taken to resolve them. The meeting also looked into other issues including provision of necessary facilities to devotees engaged in Madhu pilgrimage. Reverend Fathers and parliamentarians Kavinda Jayawardena also participated in the discussion. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Singh Pillai says the cess tax revision will not be any means to contribute to an increase in the prices of essential items.
The State Minister in a media release also says not a single commodity in the list of essential goods is being subjected to a cess tax. Only customs duties or special commodity taxes are applicable on essential items. These taxes are being implemented without any amendments. Accordingly, the essential goods list with 120 items do not come under the cess tax. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Singh Pillai said that tax increases have not been imposed on essential food items. He added that they have identified the essential types of foods, number of which is 120. Taxes will not be imposed on such items. All these taxes are related to special commodity items. The State Minister said that accordingly there will not be any price increases on rice, salt, green gram, potatoes, maize, dal, sugar and sprouts. The Lanka Sathosa has reduced the prices of 3 essential consumer items. They are dal, canned fish and red kakula rice. The price of a kilo of red dal has been reduced by 9 rupees to its new price of 389 rupees. The price of a 425-gram tin of local canned fish has also been reduced by 45 rupees. Accordingly, the new price is 540 rupees. In addition, the price of a kilo of red kakulu rice has also come down by 5 rupees, making the new price at 205 rupees. The price reductions have been implemented with effect from today. Price of imported milk powder in the market has gone up by 90 rupees. When we inquired from the Consumer Affairs Authority over the price increase, it said that milk powder has been excluded from the list of specific commodity items. The authority has further pointed out that the full responsibility of either lowering or increasing the price of milk powder lies with the relevant companies. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce says that the budget of 2023 could be regarded as a program directed towards a proper economic path.
It points out that, however, in order to achieve success, proposal will have to be implemented appropriately. These facts have been presented by Chief Economic Specialist Shiran Fernando at a special discussion with the national television.
On the budget, the Chamber views it as a budget which points towards the correct direction in terms of the reform process that is required to bring the economy back on a positive direction and back on towards a growth path as well. In the backdrop of discussions with the IMF and international creditors for our debt restructuring as well, we did see a lot of noble proposals coming in terms of reform related to state-owned enterprises, in terms of ease of doing business, a lot of proposals related to land, and I think we're happy to note a lot of reform-related proposals compared to maybe relief-related proposals at this point in time, because this is what will be required if we are to have a sustainable growth path back as well. Of course, with budgets that we've seen over the last few years and even the decades is the implementation part, which is vital for these budget speeches to become reality, because we've seen a lot of proposals like this in the past, but lack of implementation has really prevented it being in action and delayed the reform process. So while there was a task force mentioned in the budget, we hope that this task force will be in action and the timelines, the key indicators are published so that the people also know what some of these action plans are, and the Chamber will also be willing to support in this endeavor. The other side we were really looking for was maybe more expenditure cuts, in particular with the taxes rising. We need to be able to curtail expenditure. We didn't see too much of concrete proposals on this regard. So all in all, it points towards the right direction, but we were expecting to see a little more expenditure cut related proposals, as well as highlighting that implementation is the key to the success of Budget 23.
Minister of Justice Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says the program initiated through the coexistence of all overseas Sri Lankans for the reconstructions of the country is now being carried out successfully.
The minister adds that the main task of the program is to strengthen mutual understanding between all ethnic groups. Minister Rajapaksa has made these observations at a discussion with the leader of the Canadian Tamil Congress, Panchalingam Kandaya. The Canadian Congress leader has also handed over a compilation of proposals to the minister. The minister has further stated that many groups are in readiness to act in cooperation with the program of the present government. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that we never had a culture where ethnic Tamil community of Canada conducting talks with the government minister. He added that the present government has changed that scenario. There are issues that have to be resolved through continuous discussions. He also said that Tamil communities in Canada, Australia, the UK, Germany, France and Indonesia are forming alliances. The minister said that they have conducted talks with such groups and there are Tamil diasporas as well as Sinhala diasporas. We should not brand them as specific groups as they are all Sri Lankan citizens. The Sri Lankan government is prepared to allow opportunities for these groups to invest in any part of the country.
Issuing of driver's license for the first time in Sri Lanka to persons with complete disabilities in hearing and speech has commenced with effect from today. The State Ministry of Transport has planned to implement the program island-wide. The pilot project has got underway in Gampa today. There are 500,000 handicapped listeners in Sri Lanka. 50 disabled persons who have passed the written examinations in Gampa district have been issued with trainee permits. They are being allowed to engage in driving in light vehicles for a period of 3 months. Chief guest was the State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna. Medical advice was given by Institute of Consulting Physicians on ear, nose and throat. A special sticker is being pasted on vehicles driven by trainee permit holders.
Industrialists in the kittul industry say they are unable to carry forward their profession continuously. This is an inquiry into the present state of the kittul industry. The kittul industry is widespread in the island other than in northeast and coastal areas. The byproducts of kittul include honey, jaggery and toddy. The kittul industrialists appeal to the government to help them to engage in their production without difficulties.
The Subcommittee on National Councils relating to identification of short-term programs pertaining to the economic stability has recommended the government to strengthen the common transportation and to minimize fuel usage. Chairman of the committee, Partli Champikaranavaka, has made the remarks at a media briefing at the Parliament complex today on the first report of the subcommittee. Chairman of the subcommittee, National Councils relating to identification of short and mid-term progresses, Partli Champikaranavaka, said that they have recommended to establish a systematic social security data network. Those who use less than 30 units of electricity are poor people, numbering 1.3 million families. He has requested to grant relief to these groups. For the first time, a welfare board has been established and implemented in Sri Lanka.
The main objective of the formation of the institution is to introduce a systematic welfare receiving project on behalf of families suffering from poverty, and handing over financial aid to families selected under the program is to be implemented with effect from second quarter of next year. Data and information pertaining to 3.5 million families undergoing poverty have been received. Compilation of the relevant information is presently taking place. Chairman of the Welfare Recipient Board, V. Vijayaratne, says data analysis is being carried under 6 categories, and thereafter a list of poor families will be prepared. All poor families identified on district basis are entitled for welfare disbursements of the government with effect from second quarter of next year. The Welfare Board has been formulated under Parliament Act number 24 in the year 2022.
Now for a few local news items in brief. Minister Mahinda Amarweera requested farmers on irregularities pertaining to urea fertilizer and employees in agrarian services centres. He instructed Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture to suspend duties of officials found guilty of the offences. 19 persons who were engaged in gem mining in the Mahavali Protea trade in Bagalawan Talava were arrested by police special task force. Illegal clearances have created a harmful impact to the biodiversity of the protectorate. More than 10 million rupees worth of medical equipment were donated to the Castle Hospital in Colombo today. They were contributions of the Hospital Support Institute of California of the United States.
Annually, between 10,000 to 12,000 persons die from accidents. 4 people are killed in accidents every 3 hours. Accidents cost 32 to 35 human lives a day in Sri Lanka. Most of them are road accidents. Careless and speedy driving, driving under the influence and tiredness are the major reasons for road accidents. The need for more care by motorists have been reiterated.
Meanwhile, a report on the Muthuraja tusker here. There are only 20 tamed elephants in Sri Lanka. However, attention is focused on the Muthuraja tusker on Kandevihare, Alutkama. The 9-feet height Muthuraja is 28 years old. It was a gift from Thailand to former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga in 2001. The elephant has been brought to Dehiwala Zoological Gardens for further treatments after being indisposed. The elephant has difficulty bending the joints in the front leg. A group of persons, including the ambassador of Thailand, made chief incumbent of Kandevihare, Venerable Vipulsana Thera, to inquire into the well-being of the elephant. trustee of the Dalila Maligava, said it is normal for the animals and they should be treated kindly. Minister Mahinda Amaravira has discussed lengthily with the Secretary of the Ministry and decided to hand over the animal to the National Zoo. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Prima Kotumi hot and spicy cricket. KTM his Senate Sashi Pekatue Amka Satankara. Visituna Hatlis SMS Karan. Rupia Delaksha Panasdaga Mudaltiag Etrutavad Vatina Tag Dinapata Dinagan. November Tihada Papa
Prima Kotumi Fantamai.
Welcome back, and we move on to news overseas now. Former US President Donald Trump has launched his third bid for the White House, declaring America's comeback starts right now.
At his Florida estate, he said, "We have to save our country." Mr. Trump's announcement comes as some fellow Republicans blame him for the party's lackluster performance in the last week's midterm elections. President Joe Biden, who defeated Mr. Trump 2 years ago, has said he may run for re-election in 2024, speaking to an invited crowd of the ballroom of his Mar-a-Lago private club in Palm Beach on Tuesday night. Mr. Trump, 76, said, "We are a nation in decline." Shortly before the speech, he filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to formally declare his presidential candidacy and setting up a fundraising account. Outside Mar-a-Lago, supporters gathered to wave Trump 2024 flags.
The American Space Agency NASA has launched its most powerful ever rocket from Cape Canaveral in Florida. The 100-meter tall Artemis vehicle climbed skyward in a stupendous mix of light and sound. Its objective was to hurl an astronaut capsule in the direction of the moon. This spacecraft, known as Orion, is unscrewed for the particular flight, but if everything works as it should, people will climb aboard and future missions that go to the lunar surface. Wednesday's flight followed two previous launch attempts in August and September that were aborted during the countdown because of technical woes. But such issues were overcome on this occasion, and the Space Launch System, as the rocket is often called, was given the go to begin its ascent from the Kennedy Space Center at 1:47 local time.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න.
Prima Kotumi Fantamai.
Now on to sports news. Recently, the T20 World Cup concluded, crowning England as the champions after an exciting encounter with Pakistan. A special feature of the match for Sri Lankans was the officiate of the match, umpire Kumar Damasena. His keen eye for the progress of the game has allowed him to appear in 6 international finals of the cricketing world. This is a special feat, as this is the first time any umpire has done this.
Kumar Damasena, who was also the main umpire in the final encounter of the T20 World Cup cricket tournament, he has returned to the island this morning, and he has made a special and invaluable contribution to the sport of cricket by extending his striking professional skills in the international cricket tournaments organized by the International Cricket Council.
There's only 4 more days for the FIFA World Cup to take place in Qatar. 32 teams are participating in 8 categories. We are focusing today on the E and F categories of the FIFA World Cup.
In the initial round, countries Spain, Costa Rica, Germany and Japan compete under the E category. Germany could be identified as the strongest team in this category. They have won the World Football crown on 4 occasions. According to international rankings, Germany is at the 11th position. Another E group contender, Spain, had won the World Football Championship trophy in the year 2010. According to the gradings, they are in the 7th slot. The other members of the group, Costa Rica and Japan, are in the 31st and 24th positions according to the world rankings. The first match in the preliminary round will be between Germany and Japan. The second encounter is scheduled to take place between Spain and Costa Rica, and both matches will be worked off on the 23rd of this month. Belgium, Canada, Morocco and Croatia are competing under the F category in the initial round. Currently, Belgium ranks in the second place in the world football teams. This formidable team was placed third in the final World Cup football tournament. Croatia, which is also coming under the F category, has clinched the 12th place in the football gradings. This team has been successful in becoming runners-up in the 2018 World Cup tournament. Another F category team, Canada, has secured the 41st position, and another competitor of the same group, Morocco, received the 22nd position. The first match under the F category will be between Morocco and Croatia. The second match under the F group will take place between Belgium and Canada. These two matches will also be conducted on the 23rd.
මෙහෙම දිනන්න මෙහෙම වන්න.
Prima Katumi Fantamai.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.